So you want to turn your basic notebook into a planner. Great. In this video, I'm going to show you a simple way that you can take your basic ordinary notebook, nothing expensive, and turn it into a very effective planner. My name is Dayne. I'm just an ordinary career professional sharing videos on career, life, personal growth, as well as performance tips. So if you're into these kind of videos, make sure to subscribe so you can see more videos in the future. Okay, it's 2020, and I know you might be saying to yourself, this last 6 months has been a whirlwind of challenges, setbacks, and everything that I've been aiming and shooting for this year has just not happened. It's okay. I'm there with you too. This has been a difficult year for us all, but there's no better time as we move into the second half of the year to start really thinking about how we can set up our goals, plan these goals, and just continue to move forward, which we will dive into here today. So today I'm going to show you a basic framework I use for my planner so I can be more productive, hit my goals, as well as just stay consistent with everything that I'm trying to do. Like yourself, we're all busy. I work a 40 to 60 hour, depending on the week, job for a technology company. I have a podcast on the side. I do YouTube on the side. So there's a lot of things that we have to juggle in our day-to-day. So I wanted to give you some practical tips, stuff that you can take away from this and really decide what makes sense based on the advice I share with you. The last thing I'll say before we dive into the method and the framework, this is completely customizable. So I don't want you to copy every single thing that I do. Take the strategies that make sense and then personalize it because it's not going to work for everyone. And I will say this structure in this method is probably best for someone who's not overly fixated on trying to plan every little thing, and more so for someone who likes to still have some structure and some routine that they can follow just to be as productive as possible. So let's jump into it. So first, when it comes to just getting a basic planner, this is super simple. I don't want you to buy anything expensive. You don't even have to go to Staples to get a notebook that's probably going to be $15 to $25. I have this basic black notebook, which I use every single day. I might change the color, but you can simply get this at Walmart for about $5. So it's extremely cheap. And in the tutorial today, or at least the walkthrough, I'm gonna be just using this simple notebook. Again, a very cheap notebook that I probably got for maybe even less than $5 because it's a little bit smaller, and just showing you everything in terms of how it's set up. Again, don't break the bank. Go to Walmart, get a couple of these. They're gonna last you maybe 3 to 6 months, and then you can just restart with another one. The other thing I would say too, before I start showing you each detail, make sure you get a good pen. Amazon, Inkjoy. This is an amazing pen. It's good, it's clean, it's crisp. You wanna be able to write and easily see what you're doing every single day. So get yourself a good pen too. So now we're gonna dive into the notebook setup, and I'm gonna start from scratch just to show you what this could look like for you if you're deciding to turn this notebook into a planner and start structuring your day. We're gonna break it down again, like I said, into 3 basic structures and things to think about, and we'll start right when you open the planner. So when you open the planner, you might be able to skip the first page or second page, but on the first 2 pages where we're gonna start and focus on. So the first page to the left, what I always like to do is I like to write the year. So this year, January 2020, if you're starting over, again, it can be in July, that's completely fine. Just write the year. And then I like to list about 5 to maybe 10 goals of what I'm trying to accomplish that year. So think about that. Again, this is completely optional. If you don't want to do this, you can skip over it, but I highly recommend if you're going to be planning your day, you're going to be looking at what you're trying to do week to week, month to month, day to day, have some goals that you can shoot for. And if you're going to set these goals, I would highly suggest looking at them once or twice a day, once in the morning when you're waking up and you're looking actually at your schedule, and once before you go to bed, because again, you want to keep these things that you're aiming for on the top of your mind. So that's the first thing I would do. And if you carry this notebook around with you, which I highly recommend as well too, those goals are always with you. You can always look at them and you can always be asking yourself, what else am I trying to do today to make sure I'm staying on target with the targets I've set myself for 2020. To the right of the goals, the next thing in this process, and again, it's completely optional, but I really like doing this, is I like for myself to set a mission statement or a vision statement. I know that might sound a little woo-woo or personal development, but hear me out for a second. I think this is extremely important. So for me, I have a basic mission statement. It's very simple and it just aligns with what I like to create and do. And that mission statement is, I seek to inspire young professionals or young people to help them find purpose, passion, and fulfillment in their lives while working to become peak performers, top performers who inspire the next generation of leaders. That's the simple framework, if you will, of what my mission statement is. It's very simple. That's why this YouTube channel exists. That's why the podcast channel exists. So I have a simple mission statement I like to look at and read every single day. If you're someone who likes to think about that, a mission statement, a vision statement, go ahead and do so and keep that in that beginning portion of your planner. Another thing that you can do, which is something else that might be more relatable, is I like to either write my top values. So there's a guy by the name of Dr. John Demartini. He talks about your highest values as a person. Everyone has different values. And I'll write that down for you too, so you can see some of the things that I focus on when it comes to performance, career. These are just things that are most important to me and where I spend my time. Another thing that you could do, and this is maybe another option on this page, is writing down your HPA, which is your highest priority activities. Highest priority activities. So this could be, what are the 7 things that you need to do most, or that you want to do most to create whatever it is that you're working on. It could be focused on your career. It could be focused on working out. So some of those things could be work out every single day. That could be walking, running. Another highest priority activity could be making phone calls because you're in a sales position and you need to call X amount of people every single day. So this is the third and I guess final little tip I would say if you're looking at first structuring just the baseline fundamentals of having a planner and thinking about the big picture before we dive into the day-to-day. Section number 2, when it comes to structuring a planner for myself, I don't put the month, every single month that we're in. I track week to week, day to day, because again, I know what my high priority goals are, and I work backwards from there, just week to week, month to month. Again, this is my framework. If you want to do month to month, you can completely do that. So section number 2, what I'm gonna show you is what I do in regards to setting up my weekly objectives. So if we're going into a new week and it's Sunday, I'm gonna open up my planner and I'm gonna have a fresh piece of paper and it's gonna say my weekly objectives. And you can label the week if you want to, if it's week or month, you can label that as well too, but I'm gonna write down every objective I'm shooting to aim to accomplish in this week. And I'll just list them out, and I like to put these little bubble dots as well too, just so I can check those off as I'm going through it. Another thing I'll mention is if you have a planner, a basic planner, that the one I showed you to, like this black one from Walmart, you're gonna have that little crevice or the ribbon that gives you the ability to put a timestamp on where you were last. So I'll keep this typically on that objective, that weekly objectives, because if I'm moving page to page and adding different stuff, and what I'll go into in just a second, then I will keep flipping back to check off those weekly objectives. So that's section 2, is writing down your weekly objective. What is everything that you want to accomplish? And another thing I think about is this, it's really like a brain dump going into the next week. If it's Sunday and you're preparing for your next week, you just brain dump everything that you think or that you want to get accomplished. You don't have to do everything. And I'll explain why I do this in the next section and how we plan the day to not overwhelm yourself and try to get so many different things done. So remember, when you're planning the second phase, which is your weekly objectives, think of it as a brain dump. Pour as much into it as what is everything that I'd like to accomplish this week. Doesn't matter if you don't get it all done. We never finish all of the to-dos on the to-do list because they are constantly always changing, and we're always adding things to that as well too. So this is section number 2. You're just gonna outline your weekly objectives. You can label it by the day, the week, the month if you want. Basic framework, section number 2. Section number 3, and probably my most favorite to talk about section, because this is the day-to-day that you live within. What am I gonna get accomplished today? So we have a fresh piece of paper. We're flipping right over from where we started on weekly objectives, and now we're into Monday. So you set up your weekly objectives, it's Sunday. You can flip that piece of paper over, and now you're gonna write the day at the top. So let's say Monday, July 15th, or whatever it is, and then the year we're in, 2020. So I write that at the top first. That's the first thing that I'll do. Next, right underneath that, I'll write my top 3. Now again, this could be your top 5, this could be your top 7, this could even be your top 1. I'm gonna leave it up to you what makes sense to you. I've refined this over years from doing 1 to 2 to 3 to 5. So you can write my top 3, my top 5, and those are the main things that I'm trying to get done that specific day. I don't like to overwhelm myself and tell myself I need to get 8 things done, so I keep it to 3. What are the 3 things that I wanna get done today? If you're thinking, Dayne, I can't even get 3 things done in my day, then just make it 1, and think about this. If you're doing 1, ask yourself, if I got this 1 thing done today, it would make this day the best day. It would make today a win for me. So again, we can keep it really simple. So I'll write top 3, And then underneath that top 3, I'll do 1, 2, 3, maybe put a circle around it just to emphasize those are the main things, and I'll write those specific things out, whatever they are. I can add additional things to them if I need to, because maybe one of them is make a podcast, but in the process of making a podcast, there's some other notes that I want to give to myself in regards to, ooh, you need to do this and this and this. And then again, I'll do that little bubbly thing. This is completely personalized to me, but you can do it too. But I just love that feeling of being able to X off those items that are most important on my list. So you have those top 3 or top 1 are the next things that follow. Underneath that, and this is going to be the third and final thing on this first page, because we're going to use the whole page. We're going to use the left side and the right side. So I typically recommend starting with an opening on both sides, following that weekly objective. The last thing, I'm going to write OT. OT, and that just stands for other tasks. So outside of the top 3, there's always going to be other things that you want to get done in your day. And these could be miscellaneous things. These could be make sure to go to the grocery store to pick up food. This could be, hey, make sure to call your brother because you need to ask him about something. So anything miscellaneous. And that's where you can get a little bit crazier and write a lot of additional things. But again, it's just keeping things on the top of your mind of like, what else could I get done? Because you're going to have those days where you knock out all 3 of those things. You knock out all 3 of those things and you did that early and you're crushing it. And it's like, what else can I do? So you always want to have that other list, that secondary list to the main list that you can start working on and getting done as well too as you move. And again, this is all going towards completing what the weekly objectives are for the week. So that's going to be the left side. And again, completely customizable. Make it work for you in whatever way you want. So to the right side, we're going to have another blank piece of paper. What do you do with this side? There's a lot of things you could do. One recommendation is just leave it blank, and it's for notes. You could just write additional notes on things that come up, ideas that spark, whatever it is that you want to do. How I use this is in a couple different ways, so I'll share with you at least 2 of them. First, at the top of this page, I'll write morning pages. Morning pages. And what morning pages is it just gives me the ability, if I want to, again, it's optional for me as well, to just write and journal a little bit. I think the process of planning, having a planner and having a journal coincides so well. So I like to write. I like to journal almost every single day. So on this right side, I'll write morning pages, and in the morning, as I'm looking over my to-do list and getting my morning started, I'll have that free-flowing space to write whatever's on my mind. Maybe I dreamed about something or I had an idea that I want to get down on paper. That's my time to write that, or that's my time to have daily gratitude. What am I thankful for? What am I so excited about working on this week? Or what happened in my family that was really good? Getting those thoughts out of your mind is so important. So I give myself the space to do that. You can do this in a myriad of ways, but I like to write morning pages. And then after I finish those morning pages, I'll have another section under there that says evening pages. So if I want to write evening pages, or I want to reflect on my day, how did my day go? What do I need to change to get better for tomorrow? I'll go ahead and do that as well. One other thing that you could do on this page, which I have done as well too, is if I have those morning and evening pages, I'll sometimes write additional notes, and it's just a sub-segment section of the notebook that gives me a spot still to write just additional notes that come onto my mind. So that's an additional tip, and this is the third and final section that I think is one of the easiest, simplest ways to get started if you're someone who wants to have a planner, but you don't want to make it too complex and add so much friction into the process so it turns into a daunting task versus something you get up in the morning inspired to do. So I have a question for you, and I'd love to know your feedback. What is the best productivity hack you've learned when it comes to setting up a planner or a journal for success? Go ahead and leave your comment below, and I look forward to reading all the comments and answering and getting some tips for myself, because again, this process is always changing. And remember, from the famous Benjamin Franklin, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. Think about that. And before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.